you so much for coming back to my channel. This is Her Crown, where we are all about growing in our faith, growing in our relationships, and growing as women. This is Sipping Tea with Jesus, and I am so excited to speak on the truth about godly marriages. Man, when God gave me this word, I was like, yes, God, finally, yes, I made it to this, because I had no idea what it is that He wanted me to say. And I'm like, God, I have no idea, like, what do you want me to say? And all week I was like, okay, like, nothing. And God's timing is so perfect. And today, when I was studying and reading, I was like, okay, God, I'm just going to pray. I'm gonna let it flow, and then you're gonna tell me what to say. And of course He did. So I am going to pray really quick and then read the word that He gave me, and then give you guys the revelation that He gave me. So God, I thank you for this day, Lord. I pray that you will continue to move in me and show your people what it is that you want them to know about your kingdom. God, I pray that you remove me out the way. God, reveal to them the truth. God, be with them and speak to them for themselves as well. God, I thank you, and in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So God led me to Ezekiel 13. And of course, I've never read Ezekiel 13 before, to be honest. And when I got to it, I was like, like, this is about false prophets. I was like, this cannot be what He wants me to read. So He was like, keep reading. Oh God, so I'm like reading it, and I'm like, okay, they're still talking about false prophets and how they're wicked and blah blah. Like, I know I'm not wicked. Like, I know I'm a righteous woman. So this can't be it, God. And He's like, of course, keep reading. So then I get to the bottom, and okay, Ezekiel 13 verse 20 says, I will free the people you have ensnared like birds. I will also tear off your veils and rescue my people from your hands, so that they will no longer be prey in your hands. Then you will know that I am the Lord. Because you have disheartened the righteous person with lies, where I intended no distress, and because you have supported the wicked person so that he does not turn from his evil way to save his life, therefore you will no longer see false visions or practice divination. I will rescue my people from your hands, and you will know that I am the Lord. So literally, as soon as I stopped reading, He gave me what He meant, the revelation that I needed for that. The world has given their own vision as to what God's kingdom looks like, basically. So the world has made it seem as though that there are no godly men, no Christian men, no men that love their family and are strong and true. And honestly, over the years, we have started to believe that. And I was like, wow, God, like, you're right. You are right. And to believe that there are no godly men, that is a lie, literally straight from the pit of hell, because God sent the most precious, the most loving, the most perfect example of a godly man on this earth. So I feel as though the world and the devil is really trying to stop what God intended for truth. And if Jesus walked this earth and was a godly man, and if God's word is the same as yesterday as it is today, why on earth are we believing that there are no godly men? And I will say that for a while I was honestly believing like that, man, there is basically none, Lord, like no potentials. Like I would say, like, God, how am I getting married? Because I know that this is when I was like living in sin. I'm like, I know that I am going to be a godly woman. Like, I always knew that, and I didn't know exactly when I would get there, but I knew I would get there sometime. And I'm like, God, like, okay, I'm gonna get there, so like there has to be some equalness, you know, like I'm gonna need a godly man. So I would really just kind of get discouraged with the like people that I used to date and all that, and I'm like, okay, this word is definitely for me. If it's not for y'all, if nobody else watches this video, it is for me. Because the world has really tried their best to make it seem as though there's no godly men. There's no men who actually have a righteous heart, who loves God wholeheartedly, that there are only godly women. Like, why would God send godly women? And why would God intend for us to be married and to have a helpmate and not give us a helpmate? Do you know what I mean? Like, And I'm talking to myself and I'm talking to y'all, and I hope that somebody gets this revelation. It's like what we say has so much power. There is power in the tongue, and if we are, or if you are constantly saying, "There's no godly man. There's no man for me. I'm never getting married. I'm just gonna be a single godly woman all my life." That is a lie, and you're spewing that out, and you are hindering um, your blessing. Like God can't reveal to you something that you don't believe in. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, like if you don't believe in godly men and you don't believe they don't exist, then He's not gonna give it to you. Yes, man, and that's a revelation right now. Because honestly, that makes so much sense. Because I didn't believe in a godly man, and I felt like I was kind of so far from my husband, and the fact that I like here within like the past 6 months have really been focusing on myself and also praying for my husband. It's like I believe there is one out there. I believe he's out there, and I just know it's true. And God will confirm things for you. He will give you confirmation, and He will speak to you. So ask God to speak to you about godly men, and what it is that He wants you to know about the man in His kingdom. And it's the revelation that is needed, and we need to debunk all those lies that there are no godly men, because that is could be the furthest from the truth. So that we had to get that started. Like I had to say that because that is so important. You can't have a marriage like without a godly man. In my eyes, a godly marriage. So next thing is godly marriage goes back to um, godly individuals and whole individuals. I don't want to talk a broken record, but to have a godly marriage, you need godly individuals. Both have to have a sincere relationship with God. Nothing fake, not just doing it, oh, I'm going to go to church just so I can meet a man. I'm going to go to church just so I can meet a woman. No, it has to be genuine, a true relationship. And if you want to go back to being whole is the goal, that is where I talk about being whole and having a sincere relationship with God. It has to, you have to have a prayer lifestyle. What if things kind of get heated or y'all are in like a predicament and y'all need miracles? You're going to need to be prayer warriors, okay? Both of you, you have to have prayer. There's no way of getting around that. You have to pray for your spouse. Even when you're married, like don't just pray for a future spouse and then once you get married, oh, got him, I'm done. Now what? I look around like, okay, now what? No, when you get married, continue to pray for your spouse. It's a continuing thing. Like that's nothing it's not going to stop, and it shouldn't stop. You shouldn't want it to stop. Um, Both need to put God as the head of their life. Okay. Again, back to being whole. But in regards to putting God the head of your life, if you put your husband before God, then you're going to start worshiping your husband. Okay? And if you put your wife before God, you're going to start worshiping your wife. You need to have that foundation of God is all I need. He is the one that will sustain me. He is the one that will bring me peace and joy, and that's where you want to be. You don't want to put your husband or your wife up there. It's going to be failure. You are going to put them on a pedestal that they're going to fall off every single time. Put God as the head. Always have God first. Have an intimate relationship with God, even in your marriage. Be able to have those moments of getting to a room, a quiet place where you can worship God and you can just thank Him for who He is and what He's done, what He's doing, what He's going to do. You want to be able to keep that intimacy even while you're married. Because once you start slowly pulling away and focusing too much on your spouse, God's not going to like that. You're going to drift away more from God, and we don't want that. That's not what we're trying to do. That's not where we're trying to be, especially in 2021 with all that's going on. You want to be hidden in God even when you are married, even when He gives you the blessings that you have been waiting on. Stay hidden in Him, okay? It's very vital, so important. Don't lose that just because you are on the mountains. Like, don't be in God only because you're in a valley and you wanting Him to bring you out of something. No, be in God also when He fulfills that for you, when He fulfills the promises. Like that's when you should be worshiping Him the most, giving Him the most praise. That's like those miracles, those promises are reminded to you of who He is and what He will do and what He can do for your people when you are living righteous. You are really trying to live the life that God intended. Okay, so next is God is the foundation in the marriage. Okay, God is number one at all times. When you, like when problems occur, like I said before, you want God to be there. Like you don't want to experience problems and God is nowhere around, or you're not ushering God in. You're not going to Him first. He's the ultimate problem solver. So why not go to the problem solver? Like I think we can get so caught up in what we want, and once we get it, we're like, okay, well we got it, and then we kind of forget about who gave it to us. And could you imagine God doing that to us? Like I'd be out here lost, literally wandering the streets lost. I could imagine God not talking to me, or just I don't know. I've really been stuck on God speaking this week, and I have learned so much about just the way He speaks to us and different ways He speaks to us, and the amount of revelations and confirmations I had this week. I am mentally exhausted, but in the best way, and overwhelmed. I know that was a little off topic, but I have to throw that in there. We also need to understand the order of marriage that God intends. I know this can be a tricky situation. You know, we don't really want to accept submitting and our husband being the head. I understand we got some feminists out there, which is fine. But if you want to be in a godly marriage, you got to understand how God intended marriage to be. God is the head, okay? Husband comes next, and then the wife, okay? And there is a reason. You need to understand that submitting does not mean you don't get to make any decisions. It doesn't mean your husband is better than you. It literally just means that you trust that your husband is following God's voice. Okay? Like, you trust your husband as a leader. And for one, me personally, I'm not getting married to anyone that I wouldn't trust to lead me. You know, like, if you are feeling as if your husband isn't worthy to be submitted to, then I mean, first rearrange your thought process on it, but also think about it. Is this a godly marriage? Do I need God to heal some things in our marriage? Think about that. But honestly, I know I won't have a problem with submitting to my husband whenever I receive him. It's because I know that God is sending me a godly man. And I just don't think it will be such a struggle to comprehend once you realize the man that God gives you will be a man that He intends to love you wholeheartedly, and you will want to submit to him and respect the position that God has given him as the head of the household. So I look at it as if we are women, we are like the house manager, okay? And our husband, he's like the vice president. And I said house manager for a reason. Like, I didn't do vice president and president because, like, the manager, they are looking, like, they are on the floor. They are looking how everything is being ran. They are handling the schedules as far as when the children go to school, when is dinner going to be cooked, when you go grocery shopping, you know. And it's not that your husband isn't right there helping you, but you know, us women, we're going to be the ones handling that, you know. We're going to have that organization. We're going to have that structure with, okay, the kids go to bed at this time. We need baths. We need schoolwork. We need school projects, you know. Your husband's going to be there. I'm not saying he won't be, but that's just that's just how it's going to be done. Every marriage is different, but overall, you know, that's how it's going to be done. And as the house manager, when you can tell that something is throwing off the structure or the schedule, then you go to the vice president and you guys sit down and you talk and you figure out what it is that is messing up the structure and the way that things are flowing. If it's lack of communication, if it's not getting enough help, if it is you are overwhelmed, you're stressed, you need more time to be alone. All that ties into the way that your home will be ran and the structure and scheduling and all that. So when you're sitting down with your husband, the vice president, and you as the manager, you guys sit down, you write notes, you talk it out. We need communication, you guys. And then when you leave from that meeting and from talking to each other, then it's like, okay, We have an understanding of what we need to allow the structure of our family and our daily lives to run smoothly. And I really think if we really understand that it's a team effort, that the man is not better than us, the man is not more worthy, and we need to worship him, we will understand more so about how God intended for marriage to be. And I really pray that, if you're struggling with wanting to submit to your husband, that you will pray to God and ask him to show you exactly what it is he wants to show you about submitting. Ask him to really speak to you so you can have a clear understanding. Because I really didn't understand submitting, and me speaking on this today and God directing me on what to say, it's like I get revelations even now, speaking now, of what submitting really is. It's a beautiful thing. It's honoring God, honoring your husband, loving yourself. Submitting, honestly, is not an easy thing to do. It shows how strong we are, being able to put someone first or above us, but in a healthy way. Now, don't submit to a man if he is not a righteous man. This is my opinion. Now, this is not God speaking. I'm just saying, for me, I'm not submitting to a man that's not righteous. I'm not submitting to a man to where God is the head of him. Because if God is not the head of his life, why am I putting him above me? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not doing your part, why am I submitting to you? And then, like I said before, I wouldn't be married to him in the first place. And that's just me. So, I really hope you got a revelation, some newness about marriage and what it is and how God intends for us to live and the structure. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. And if you are desiring marriage, do not stop praying about it. Continue to keep your husband or your wife in your daily prayer time. It doesn't have to be like a deep prayer every single day, but write down some things that you're wanting God to reveal to you this year about your spouse or about your marriage or about you also. God will do it. The other day I posted something. Oh no, it was actually earlier today. I posted something in regards to confirmations. And when I tell you that God will speak when you ask him to, it is amazing. Go to my TikTok. I'll post it in the bio or something about how I spoke on confirmations and what God revealed to me, because it was amazing. Like I felt so bad about asking God for confirmations about something, because I was like, God, I'm not trying to not believe you, but I need a confirmation. But basically, in Judges 6 verse 36, I'm just gonna talk about it. Forget about the TikTok part. I'll just go ahead and go in on it. In Judges 6 verse 36, I was listening to Michael Todd's God Still Speaks video, and he spoke on like 11 different ways that God will speak. And go watch that video, because that was so enlightening. I loved watching that. So he was speaking on how God will speak to you in practical ways, like through everyday life, and about like coincidences and all that. But go watch that part. But what really stuck out to me was when he started to speak on Judges 6 verse 36. Okay. In Judges 6 verse 36, God is getting ready to move Gideon to save his people or something like that. Don't quote me. So then Gideon's like, okay, God, so I know you want me to do this, and I feel like I believe you, but I need you to show me. I need you to confirm to me what it is that you are wanting me to do. So he was like, God, I'm going to put out this wool mat basically outside. And if I wake up and the mat is wet and the ground around it is dry, then I will know that this was a confirmation from you. So God's like, okay. So the next day he wakes up, he goes outside, he rings it, and it's soaking wet, it's drenched. And he's like, okay, God. So if I need a little bit more clarity, can I ask you one more thing? Like, don't be mad at me, but I need to ask you one more thing, because I'm not really sure if that was enough for me. He sounds like me. So he was like, okay, God, so if I put this mat back outside and the mat is dry, but the ground around it is wet, then I will know it was for you. And God did it that night and showed him, And to me, it's like God did it quicker. Like, look, now I done told you, but here you are again. And that was such a revelation to me because it's like, God, I need confirmations for my confirmations. I need you to show me daily, weekly, to make sure that I'm on the right path, to make sure that what you told me and what I heard was really from you, because I don't want to be in the middle. I don't want to put myself in your place. So just to know that God wants us or is okay with us asking for clarity, asking for confirmation is such a calming feeling, because sometimes I would feel bad asking God to confirm things. I'm like, God, I don't want to doubt you, but like I just need you to show me. Like my flesh is just I need you to show me. And if you are struggling with asking God to confirm something for you, don't feel bad. Okay, like accept this revelation. Go and read Judges 6 for yourself and read that, and you will see that it's okay to ask God for confirmation. That is like that had me yesterday. Like if I could have shouted honestly whenever I heard that, because I'm like, God, you know this is for me, because I need clarity. I am someone, I need reassurance. You know, that's who I am. So when I heard that, I was so happy. I felt so much peace. I felt so relaxed because I will overthink, and God knows who I am, and He knows that I will do that. So don't feel bad. Ask God to speak to you about godly marriages. Ask God to speak to you about submitting, and He will. And once He speaks, ask Him to confirm it for you, and it'll be okay. So thank you so much for watching this channel. On Sunday, I'll be starting a new segment called Let's Really Find Out, where I will be just talking about different Bible characters so we can know who we're reading about, or who is in the Bible that we're reading, basically. So I know there are times that I will read and like somebody's name will pop up. I'm like, well, I mean, I've heard of you. You know, like you've come to my mind before, but I have no idea what you really did. And like even during sermons, the pastor could mention a name, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea what this person even did, honestly. So God really moved me to speak on Esther this Sunday. So I pray that you will watch out for that video. It'll be Sunday at some time. I don't know if it'll be the morning or evening yet, but it'll be Sunday. And I pray that you will watch that one as well and really get a revelation about who Esther was, because she was a beautiful woman. So I pray that you enjoyed this message. Continue to speak to God and ask Him to speak to you. And oh man, go out and enjoy your life and live life as Christian men and women. Thank you.